Big man prospects are some of the most intriguing in the league. People fawn over Joel Embiid, Greg Oden, Kristaps Porzingis, and Karl-Anthony Towns for good reason. They have the ability to dominate on both ends of the floor if they are truly talented. And over the years, the center position has been one of the most impactful in the game, with players like Shaq, Hakeem, and Tim Duncan dominating down low. And whilst there are many talented young big men in the league, I'm not sure if we have seen a big man as athletically gifted as this young prospect since David Robinson. He stands at 7'1", weighs 250 pounds, and is playing as an Arizona Wildcat in college this season. If you haven't guessed it by now, this video is about none other than DeAndre Ayton, the enormous big man who has all the talent in the world. In this video, I will discuss how athletically gifted he is, as well as discuss his incredible skill set for a big man so young, and then preview what teams will be looking at him already in the early stages of draft scouting. Just watching Ayton, you can see the athleticism. I mentioned it in my video on Joel Embiid, but when you see big guys glide down the court with no hitch in their running, it is a great indicator of a big man who can run the floor. And run the floor Ayton does. He is exceptionally quick up and down the court and looks perfectly natural doing so. On top of this, he has an absolutely huge frame as I mentioned before. And he doesn't just have the size, he is strong, exceptionally strong. And whilst he's only done it against high school kids so far, he's almost impossible to keep off of the offensive glass and makes it near impossible to get an offensive rebound against him, as he gobbles up every rebound in sight. Part of what makes this possible is Ayton's incredible leaping ability. He recorded an absolutely insane 43.5-inch vertical leap at the Arizona training facility recently. This leap allows him to sky for rebounds, contest shots, get up easily for dunks, and make tough alley-oops in transition. He also has a phenomenal second jump, and this is something that translates well to the NBA and allows players to make multiple efforts on the glass. This frame, quickness, jumping ability, and ability to run up and down the court reminds me of Anthony Davis as a prospect in college. But tons of athletic big men have come through the draft. So you might be asking, what makes Ayton special? Well, similarly to Embiid, he is incredibly skilled with the ball on the offensive end. Except Embiid didn't always show this in college or high school, and due to him picking up basketball later, it didn't really show consistently until the draft workouts and Snapchat videos while he was injured. Ayton has always been able to score, scoring 29.2 points per game in his junior year at high school. And he can score from all over the court due to the fact that he possesses a good jump shot. This jump shot doesn't require him to be open either. He is comfortable jab stepping a defender and shooting, or just shooting over the top of defenders with outstretched hands. Plus, like any hyped up modern NBA big man, he can stroke the three, making him the closest thing to the ideal NBA center after Embiid himself. To go with his jump shot, DeAndre also has a pretty good post game. He's shown he can hit most common moves in the post: the baseline spin, the fadeaway, hooks with both hands, up and unders, and has just overall demonstrated good footwork and the ability to create space to get his shot off. One thing I would like to see from Ayton would be establishing a go-to move. Whilst he can do most moves at a basic level, he doesn't have one move that he has mastered. Without a go-to move, he will struggle a little bit more against top defenders. Being able to catch the ball on the block and immediately go into the same move on your first possession in any game helps big men get into a rhythm and score early. Plus, you can build your post-game arsenal around this move, adding counters and other moves to throw defenders off guard. Guys like Hakeem used to say that he had 4 main moves and 5 counter moves to each one, giving him a grand total of 20 main moves that he used. But a lot of other post players prefer to simplify it and just go with one main move and an array of other less mastered moves. Plus, not every player can be Hakeem in the post, as much as they love to train with him. And I think Ayton could work on a strong jump hook over both shoulders. This would allow him to use his enormous frame to body people, take one strong dribble into the middle or the baseline, and explode up for an impossible to block hook shot. Ayton also rarely travels, and has learnt early how to keep his pivot foot glued to the ground. And so hook shots are perfect for up and unders, and if Ayton perfects the shot, it will open his game right up when it gets to the NBA. And then there is Ayton's defense, which when he is switched on is very good, and he has enormous potential at this end of the floor. With his verticality, he can rise up to contest most shots, and has shown the restraint to go vertical when he has no business reaching for a block. He also knows when to rotate and when to try and get into the passing lanes. And these defensive instincts are incredibly hard to teach, and you usually have them or you don't. But despite having these instincts, Ayton has a tendency to drift in and out of games. Sometimes he's incredibly locked in, and other times it looks like he doesn't care at all. and this is especially prevalent on the defensive end. This could become a bit of a problem, or it could just be a similar story to Ben Simmons, who was a consensus number 1 pick who was frustrated with having to play in college and checked out on defense and on offense on some possessions. Ben has looked engaged and solid on defense in his first few NBA games, but there is no guarantee that Ayton will pick his intensity up when he gets to college or the NBA. There are, however, rumours that once he solidified his position as the number 1 prospect in the country in his junior year, he took a little bit easier on the court to prevent injuries and because he felt he had nothing left to prove. Scouts will eagerly be watching his defensive effort in college and seeing if his intensity is just a high school problem and if he has the mentality to succeed and fulfill his superstar potential at the NBA level. But there is no doubt in my mind, or the minds of scouts, that Ayton is an incredible prospect, and he's one of the 5 best prospects in the early stages of this draft class, up there with Luka Doncic, Mo Bamba, Michael Porter Jr., and Marvin Bagley. These 5 guys are simply incredible, and teams finishing down the bottom of the league should expect similar awards to teams that drafted top 5 this year. And teams realize this, with Phoenix, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Indiana, Sacramento, and maybe even Orlando having the potential to tank and ensure they get a good pick in this year's draft. I can't remember this many teams heading for the bottom, and I don't think any of them outside of Orlando have the delusions that they will have a successful year. But where would Ayton fit perfectly? I think there are a few teams that suit him really, really well, mainly Phoenix, Chicago, and Dallas. The rest of the teams down the bottom have big guys in the middle already who are talented, but would likely take him if he slipped and was still there at 4, 5, or 6. But I think the Suns, Bulls, and Mavericks would take a serious look at Ayton with even the first pick in this year's draft. For the Suns, they already have 2 fantastic wings in Booker and Josh Jackson, and then they have Dragan Bender, who has impressed me early this season. But Alex Len is likely to leave, and Tyson Chandler isn't on that championship timeline. Ayton would also suit the high pace that players like Booker and Jackson enjoy running, as he can fly up and down the court, and would man the middle in Phoenix for a long time to come. And then there's the Bulls, who already have Lauri Markkanen, but he is projected as a 4, and having Ayton would let them have 5 guys on the court who can shoot, and someone to man the middle on the defensive end. I think they would be highly interested, and a core of Levine, Markkanen, and Ayton would be a good turnaround for a poorly managed Bulls franchise. And lastly, there is Dallas. Dirk is finally retiring. The Noel experiment is likely to be a failure, and I think he will leave in free agency. This leaves them with very few big man options going forward, and Ayton would be a fantastic pick and roll partner for Dennis Smith Jr., leaving them 2 big talents to build around. But whilst Dallas have stumbled out of the gate, and I do think they will continue to struggle all year, I wonder if Mark Cuban will ever fully commit to a tank so long as Dirk is playing. And if he doesn't, they might end up picking in that 5 to 10 range again, which would lead them out of the Ayton races. But wherever DeAndre Ayton ends up, he has phenomenal talent, and I think he could shock everyone this season in college and shoot back up to the top of a lot of draft boards. If I was an Arizona fan, I would be incredibly excited to watch this absolute mammoth in the middle. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like as it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more NBA videos in the future. And let me know what you think of Ayton in the comments below.